Here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're live!
And we're live.
Welcome everybody to PTZOptics Live. We are in the midst of a 3-month campaign to help churches use social media, video, and live streaming. So excited today for this special show. Tess, why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Absolutely. Today, we're joined by a very special guest in which we will introduce momentarily. But first and foremost, today is all about social media and community building for churches, for houses of worship, and exactly how you can maximize your exposure to your local community.
So to bring you that information, we have Derral Eves, a YouTube expert. Actually, he has over 20 billion views on his YouTube channel, 9 on Facebook, and he works with some of the world's largest social media channels. And actually, he's been on ABC, NBC, Fox, ESPN, Christian Today, and World Religion. He's actually ranked number 4 on Forbes' watch YouTube channels to help your business. But first and foremost, he's a loving father of 5. He's a loving husband and a lay minister at his church. So I'm so excited to have him here to help us navigate the digital world and how churches can be using social media, live streaming, and technology.
What an impressive rap sheet there, Derral. We're so happy to have him join us in partnership for our largest giveaway ever. If you haven't heard, we are equipping one lucky church with thousands of dollars worth of streaming production as well as assistance. So if you have not entered that giveaway yet, make sure you get your entries in at ptzoptics.com/church-makeover.
That's right, and we're going to talk about how churches are using live streaming, and we have 3 tips to help you become incredibly effective, and not only be effective at live streaming from your church, but increase donations. We've got 3 different ways that you can be accepting donations as a 501c, completely tax-free, and YouTube and Facebook want churches to be live streaming and gathering donations on their platforms. This is some of this stuff's breaking news, and we can't wait to tell you about it.
Be sure to follow us in our post-show in our brand new podcast streaming space. That's where we take our Q&A and hold the giveaways. So it's twitch.tv/sgeeks to participate in that.
Yeah, I know a lot of churches have been using podcasting to get the message out in an audio format that works for a lot of people. So we'll be talking about that. But let's not forget, Derral Eves is about to leave for Los Angeles from his home in Utah, where he actually hosts a creator content conference called Vid Summit, and that starts October 9th. And if you can't make it to Los Angeles to see this, the great thing is he's live streaming it. And actually last year I helped him do that. He's going to be using PTZOptics cameras to do that. And you can actually purchase virtual tickets to tune in and learn from some of the best experts in social media. And it might be something right up your alley to check out.
Finally, one more thing we want to touch on before we begin our interview. We're talking about digital marketing today and benefiting churches. Well, Derral has accomplished just that in one of the top 3 crowdsourcing missions that has happened yet that we know of. So we're excited to talk about that today and a movie that he's producing. Perfect example of how to spread your message in the digital world. Let's get to it. Let's introduce our guest.
Derral, how's it going? Thank you so much for being here.
Hey, I am so excited to be here with you guys. I just love what you guys are doing online. It just warms my heart. It really does.
Thanks. Well, obviously we've introduced you quite a bit, so let's jump right into it. You are just such an expert in social media. I'm so glad to have you. A lot of churches are, let's say that, I don't want to say they're behind the times, but they're navigating a shift into digital media, a shift into social media, and I feel like the community building of social media is something that churches can really take advantage of. And our question for you to start to kick this off is what are the core missions of churches that can be the core goals that kind of align with social media and community building?
Well, at the end of the day, the biggest issues that a lot of churches face is really communicating with people that would be interested in their type of content. And that's kind of a challenge not only with churches, with businesses or any products or brands or creators and so on. The big thing here, and this is something that I truly do believe, it's like you got to create a vehicle that can get your message in front of the right people at the right place at the right time. And with social media platforms today, it's literally the right place and the right time for really engaging with your audience. And so it's creating content and knowing what vehicles to use to actually get your word out. And as the content is good and people find value in it, then guess what happens next? They actually share it organically. It's meant to be shared organically, and you're able to see some massive growth on particular projects that you're actually doing, or it could be a sermon, or it could be, this messaging that you want for your youth program, or what have you.
Mm-hmm. That kind of touches on our next question. Are there certain aspects that you either see or would recommend churches highlighting about their congregation that they might want to stream?
Yeah, like for me, I'm a big proponent in getting the content out to your audience. Like that's something that we strategize a lot on for different clients of ours. And what we try to do is like figure out our content strategy. And the easiest way to start a content strategy, you have all this prep and time for sermons that are going out there. But what happens, people get busy. Something's happening in their personal life that they're not able to go and connect on a weekly or a couple times a week basis. And so what do you do? What do you do? Well, there's a vehicle for that. So by doing a live stream, people can catch it whenever they can. They can be on the live, or they can watch it as a replay, which is really big. And that's the easiest form to actually get that content. What I love is creating programs and stuff that will actually resonate online, and it will send the message even deeper with your congregation and potential individuals that your congregation or people watching the live stream would want to share with the rest of the world.
Yeah, I'm picturing even maybe like Wednesday night Bible studies or something of the sort where a lot of people maybe can commit to Sunday but have a hard time in the middle of the week. That would be a great thing to stream as well.
Yeah,
absolutely.
There's been some recent announcements both on Facebook and YouTube I wanted to notify our audience about and ask you about as well. And they're both actually regarding streaming. So YouTube now has a new program called Super Chat. And YouTube now is allowing 501c registered nonprofits to collect revenue through live streaming with the YouTube Super Chat without actually charging a fee. And then there is a Facebook as well. If you are registered as a 501c, you can also tag your church in the post, and they will automatically accept donations for nonprofits directly through the youth Facebook platform. So now both Facebook and YouTube are allowing nonprofits to raise money through their platform. YouTube specifically through live streaming. Maybe you know more about other ways, Derral, that I wanted to ask you about. And then churches are also using programs such as give.ly for just online donations through a smartphone in case someone maybe doesn't have cash on them when the collection roll is coming around. So those are three ways churches can start increasing donations, and it's interesting how these are tying directly into live streaming a lot of the time as well. So our question to you is, the outlook for streaming for churches, is it a big deal, and have you seen a lot of social media, I want to say, fundraising and donation-based integrations working out there?
Yeah, so one of my passions in life is really affecting change in this world. That's why I do certain projects that I do. And these passions to create change and more visibility, it all at the end of the day comes down to cash and cash flow. And I've helped a lot of nonprofits actually figure out ways to raise money and to get the visibility that they're looking for. So the first thing is, and this wouldn't necessarily apply for churches, but if you're doing any other type of nonprofit, it might apply. You can actually apply for what they call Google Grants. And Google will give up to you $30,000 a month in ad revenue that you can get your message out there. Now, I just have a sneaking suspicion, knowing Google how I know them, that they're probably not going to do that for churches. But there are other foundations and nonprofits that are able to do that. And I've literally helped a ton of my clients get a grant. And, that's the cool thing. It's just like this endowment that keeps on giving. It's not just for a year. It's just indefinitely, as long as you're keeping them with the standards, which is really cool. Because, doing $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a month in additional, distribution and outreach is huge, especially getting your message out. So that's kind of where it all started. And I think what Google and YouTube and also Facebook's looking at is really a way that they can actually get some tax benefit. And I'll just be direct. That's just a good way that they can get some tax benefit by waiving their fee, but yet it's going to their deductions. But that's a great thing for us, because then you take the middleman out and you get 100% of what's given is going to that church or that foundation or that nonprofit, which is really great. Now, I was just yesterday in LA at a summit that YouTube had, bringing just enterprise level people in and some creators. And I was able to talk to the person that was actually facilitating the nonprofits kind of angle. And they're welcoming it. They one thing that I think this is going to be super fantastic, and a lot of people don't really think this way, is that you can align yourself with different creators that have a social media following, and they can actually make that live on their channel, or they say, hey, do you know what? We're going to do a live stream. Or, and I didn't know if you knew this, Paul and Tess, but you can do a premiere. It's a new thing on YouTube. You don't even have to live stream, but it comes up that you're premiering together, watching something together, and 100% of that also can go to that nonprofit. Now, and I think the power of it is getting people that already have these audiences to do a live stream, or as you develop your own audience and get people on there, that you're able to do that as well.
Yeah, I had one question about the premieres. Is there a live chat when you are premiering a video?
Yeah, there's live chat, and it has that super chat option that you're able to do. And then in the super chat option, you can say this is going to a nonprofit.
Yeah, that was the thing, just because we breezed over that. I've noticed that certain channels that maybe aren't even a nonprofit themselves can have their channel super chat go to a nonprofit, which is really nice. And I think it even
I look at it like this, like practically, let's look at this. Let's say you have people that you want to help in some third world country. You have this whole missionary effort that you're going to go, whether build a house or, help, build a school or whatever it may be. You can actually now create a campaign where you're getting these influencers to come on, talk about the project, so on and so forth, and then have people give. And that to me, I get the most excited about it, because you can virtually enable your social army to go out and raise money for you. And it can be, it could put a lot of good in this world by enabling more people to help you raise the money, but do it in a non-intrusive way. This is like a natural, organic way. I know this has been done with telethons and stuff forever, but this is more organic, because it's not the organization that's asking people. It's other people, maybe people in the congregation that have followings that are able to do this and raise money.
I almost forgot one tip that you mentioned, and it kind of dovetails into that, is that a lot of churches that we've been talking to are encouraging their members to check in to church with their smartphone. I don't have my smartphone on me. Here it is. But you can actually, when you get to church, you can click a button on Facebook and check into your church. And what that does is it notifies everyone, all of your friends, that you're at church. And if your church is live streaming, when they say, oh, look, Susan's at church or Paul is at church right now, let me click that link to his church they just checked into, then they get a live window into the church. They might see their friend there. They might start listening to the song, and it becomes a more personalized connection, because it's not coming from the church, it's coming from a friend that's at the church, and it becomes a more kind of impersonal, or maybe more personal, really, relationship and gateway to the church.
In addition to that, much like YouTube's super chat feature, if you are labeled as a nonprofit on your Facebook account, you can add the donate button directly onto your live stream, so viewers can donate directly. We just did that with a fashion show charity that we
We raised
holding.
$100 for a local charity, and it wasn't hard. It just actually popped up because we tagged the nonprofit, and
There's
they
definitely
were a 501. You should definitely get your 501c application into Facebook and YouTube so that you can do this stuff. So, Tess, our next question for Derral.
Yes, we're talking about, the presence of social media for every sort of business and organization. Do you think that using social media as a tool for churches is it seen as an option or more of a necessity nowadays for houses of worship?
I look at it this way. I think it's 100% a necessity. And the reason why is there's so much that you're competing with in today's world. And the only way that you're going to connect with someone and really have it touch them in a way is word of mouth. Like getting someone to say, hey, let's go to church is so important. And that's been, at the end of the day, that's been the most effective way to create change in the world is this word of mouth. But today, we can actually amplify that word of mouth where it's virtual word of mouth, where people are seeing what's going on and they're seeing what they're doing. And, they're being invited in other ways besides just, putting their arm around and says, hey, let's go to church or whatever it may be. And it could be these, what I love is when people see some of my social posting, they're like, oh man, that was really, really impactful. This has changed me a little bit. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. I'm trying to help people really have a deeper relationship with our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I mean, that's really important for me, and truly helping them be better parents, because that's what's being lost today. That's what's being lost. And social media gives us the avenue to not only become a light and showcase the light of Christ in all of us and really show that to the world. And also we can use that and different types of collateral, different types of content that could do it in a non-preachy, intrusive way. It can connect with someone emotionally, and it could be these small little messages that they need for the day. Just not going too personal, but I had this really strong impression yesterday to call this person, just randomly call this person, and they were literally going through difficult time in their life. And the reason why I felt that impression was because I read something that was just kind of off on this social media. So I wanted to connect with them, over the phone. And I think social media definitely can have a positive impact for businesses, but also for any type of connecting with people that you need to in the world. And I personally like to use it for personal connection, but take it a step further where we're actually calling people or seeing them in person, which is powerful. And if you can kind of blend the two worlds together, that's where it can get super powerful.
So Derral, I think you pretty much just answered this question, but I want to just phrase it. I think you just answered it, but I want to just phrase it for those of us who are still trying to understand the digital world a little bit. But how can churches and congregations better understand the digital lives that maybe their congregation and maybe potential members are living and their role there? Because I think that there's a little bit of a disconnect between, like you said, those small messages that are really having a little impact on people's lives, and then it leads to that phone call and that real message and them really walking into the church doors. And I feel like there's a little bit maybe of a disconnect, and I was just wondering if you could explain, how can we better understand social media in terms of real people and kind of the digital interface of posting something every day or getting technology to stream? Can you help us kind of, just for someone who might be a little bit newer to getting into social media, understand kind of how can we understand that these are really real people in this kind of digital, transformation that's happening today?
So I like to look at it this way. It's like you have your circle of influence, and that's where you're connecting with friends or you follow different people. And that's that circle of influence. What I try to do is make it my real friends. I have this policy, and it drives people nuts. But until I meet someone in person, I do not friend them. Like, I don't friend them on Facebook. I don't follow them, I might follow them on Twitter. That's a little bit different platform, but on Facebook specifically, if I don't meet them in person, I don't do it. And I have all these relationships that it would be natural for me to friend them. But for me, what that means is like they're truly a friend. I want to get to know them. I want to break bread with them, whatever it may be. That's really, really important for me. Now, you can set up those rules for you of whatever it is. You can accept any friendship or whatever, but it's basically your circle of influence. And then I always look at it as you're connected, and then they're connected to their friends. And as you engage with them, it can really amplify through that friend network or that follow network that's there. And simplicity is this. It's like, and I'm gonna give you a very personal, moment. But there's a person that I know that lives in my town, and she's really good at posting memes that uplift, and memes that really help you through the day. And I'll tell you what, there was one day that it was like everything was coming down on my shoulders, and I was feeling so bad for myself. My self-esteem was gone. I felt disconnected from the world. I was starting to feel disconnected from God. And I just got on social media, which is like the last place that sometimes you want to get on, but I did. And I saw that meme show up in my feed, and all I could do was cry because it connected with me. And I had to call her. I had to call her and thank her for thinking of me, even though that she wasn't. She was just putting that out for the world. But it was meant, like, I really felt like it was meant for me, for what I was going through for today, at that day. And it changed me. And that's the powerful influence. Now, it can have a negative influence too. And I would just say, look, be authentic, be real, be yourself. Yep. When you have hard days, explain that you're having hard days. When you're being, don't be this fantasy person. Everything just works so perfectly, but just be real, and you connect with those that you want to connect with.
I think that's a great explanation. And, sometimes just going back to that simple explanation of the networks. And thank you for sharing that personal story, because I think it helps people really understand. So we have something really exciting coming up.
Of course.
You have a lot of fun stuff coming up as well. We have a giveaway. And I just wanted to explain a little bit about Derral's role here. Derral's helping us bring this giveaway and make it kind of come to life for a church. You guys probably have already heard about it. We mentioned it earlier on in our presentation. But PTZOptics has teamed up with NewTek, X-Keys, Wirecast, and LiveView to bring one lucky church in the United States a complete live streaming system. And Derral has actually agreed to meet with this church and help them, once this live streaming system is in place, really leverage the technology in social media. And Derral actually offers this service, I believe, to businesses and churches as well. But this is going to be for this church. Darrell's going to sit down with you and consult with you and try to learn what your goals are. And I'm talking about the winner here, and help them get the best. And I think it's so important to consult with people who have experience with this, especially for churches and businesses who are just getting into social media, to talk to somebody who really knows what they're doing up front. It'll make a world of a difference. Derral's just about to go to Vid Summit in Los Angeles. That's October 9th. And I don't know if you want to tell us a little bit about Vid Summit, Derral. We have a clip from last year where we were trying to follow around Gary Vaynerchuk on stage, but he was running back and forth so quickly.
You're chasing him the whole time. That's so fun. First off, I was really honored. I guess we're talking about Vid Summit. So let me talk about Vid Summit. Vid Summit's a place where it's basically helping creators, brands, and businesses understand the online world for online video. And what's really cool about this is I bring people together that really want to learn and really leverage what they're doing for good out in the world. And there's so many powerful things that you can learn by learning the latest strategy or the tools to really leverage getting your message out there. Now, one thing, I've been on YouTube since 2005, and I've generated 37 billion video views during that time. And the thing for me is I learn from people. Like, one of the biggest, most powerful thing that my father taught me growing up was you can learn something from every person that you come in contact with. You just need to be willing to receive. And I'll be honest with you, that's like the best advice my dad has ever given me, because the people that I come in contact with, you're able to learn strategy, tactics, or how to be a better person by everyone that you come in contact. And the whole reason why I started the Vid Summit is because I wanted to learn from the best in the world. And I wanted to personally invite brands and creators and marketers and strategists to teach me, the latest strategies. And a lot of people don't have a platform to educate. They're not like you guys, but they're willing to share. They're willing to give. And I just believe that the more that you give, the more you receive. And if you're willing to receive it, then it can be super powerful. So that's kind of the Vid Summit. But talking about this giveaway, I'm really excited about it. Paul and I were kind of discussing the idea about a year ago, and it just never facilitated. But I'm really passionate about this because we live in a world today that there's so much evil, there's so much negativity, there's so much things that oppress people that we need to counterbalance that. We need to bring more light to the world. And that's why I'm really excited to have PTZOptics and all the amazing companies that are coming on board to do this, because being more active in social media will bring more light in people's lives. And we need to do that. And it, like, literally, if we can steer people to deepen their relationship with Jesus Christ, to deepen their relationship with their family, to get into the good word, and to really learn how to be a better person. That's what the world needs today more than ever before. And that's why I'm so excited about this project, is that, we can give a church a makeover, or even put in a system that they never had a system before. And I'm going to literally fly in, and I'm going to meet with not only whoever's running the congregation or the church there, but I'm hoping that they'll bring in everyone. Right. And I want to teach them how they can become the social army for the church, and how to do it in a very easy way, instead of really pushing religion down people's throats or pushing theology down people's throats, but doing it in a natural, organic way, and create that sense of goodness that needs to happen, and teach them how to leverage this in a very positive way that can not only build their community, but really help change the face of the world that we live in.
I really think that your role in the giveaway is going to be very important for the winners, and I think they're so going to appreciate getting the value that you bring, and also the understanding that you have of how to deliver, the specific type of message that the recipient of these prizes are going to need to interpret, because it can be a lot to just get all this equipment, of course, and then just be expected to successfully grow your audience. And I think that you're going to be integral in helping with that.
Yeah, I'm excited for that, for sure.
Well, that's awesome. The last topic we wanted to just brief everybody on is that Derral has been working hard on a project called The Chosen. And Tess mentioned earlier that it's the third largest crowd-funded video project. It's really almost like a Hollywood TV series in the world, and it's all about the life of Jesus Christ. And this video called The Chosen, I believe there's just a trailer out now. And Derral, I wanted to know if you could just tell us a little bit about it and where people could find more information, because this is really groundbreaking.
And how did you do it?
How did you do it? It's incredible.
So here's the thing. I'm really passionate about this. I look for projects that I can really put all my energy behind. And basically, when I say we, my partners, and this is really interesting. So my main partner, he's an evangelical, Dallas Jenkins, the son of Jerry Jenkins, who wrote the Left Behind series. I don't know if you guys know that, but
yep.
Oh, yeah.
He's been in TV and film for 20 plus years. Probably one of the most talented people I've come across. He is just very good at his craft. And then we have another partner who's a Messianic Jew, a Jew that believes in Jesus Christ. And he's a publicist. He does PR and publicist for film and television. And then you have me, the social media guy. So I'm like, hey, this is like a perfect combination. But at the end of the day, I've always disconnected with religious content. And because it's so dry, it's either like King James Version speaking, or, stuff that's so cheesy that you're like, why in the world did they even make this? Right. And there's kind of like jokes about this. And I kind of get worried about it, because I really believe that there needs to be content that really engages with people on an emotional level. Now, I know what that type of content is, and it's really someone can connect with the messaging.
Absolutely.
And they can connect with the characters that's actually in the specific film or television. So we actually did one of the first things that I always say to do is to create a creation story of how you actually got started. If you go to facebook.com, The Chosen TV, you're able to see our Facebook group. And that you're able to see exactly our creation story to do this and how this project all came about and how we all came together to do this. Now, we actually made a pilot episode, and that's what you're kind of seeing here, of the perspective of the shepherd and how his life was and how he was being shunned because he's the lowliest of the low. And he was actually being shunned by different shepherds out there. And all he wanted is this craving to learn about the Messiah. And one of the parts in the video that I just really love is he was being rejected and he was being kicked out of the synagogue, and because he just didn't belong there. And this guy, all he wanted to learn about Jesus Christ. And what happened next was he was at the lowliest part of his day. Being rejected by the Pharisees, being rejected by the other shepherds, being kicked out of the temple when he wanted to learn about the Messiah. And when he left, he was just, he slipped and fell and cut his arm. And he was just like having the worst day ever. And he gets up, kind of shakes himself off, and a guy asked him for directions for the well. And this is what I love about this story is he wasn't thinking about himself. And how horrible a day he was. He noticed that they traveled for a long distance of time and they needed some water. So he just offered water to them. Little did he know that was Joseph and Mary is about to have the baby Jesus. And it really sent a good message to me is there's good people for me out there in the world. And I could really relate to this shepherd. Growing up on a farm and knowing how that is. And then two, as he's leaving, he was the first when the angels came and told of Christ being born. He was the first to see our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, here on earth. And to show that perspective of his life and his change when he came across Jesus Christ is really powerful. So we wanted to create a TV series on this. This is actually a multi-season series that is going to showcase how people's lives are changed by interacting with the Messiah, with Jesus. And I'm really excited about it. We had this crazy idea. And the more that you guys know me, I'm about disrupting the world that we live in. I'm not satisfied with the world that we live in. I want to make it a better place. And we want to do things that will be very impactful. And so we decided to take on a crowdfunding project where we would actually get donations so that we can actually, put in the money that we need to put the team together to put this TV series to start and to make money. But the thing that we wanted to do differently is we didn't want to do it like other crowdfunding projects. People get a T-shirt and maybe a pat on the back, but sometimes they see the product or not.
Yeah.
We wanted to make a huge difference. So what we did is we went through the Securities Exchange Commission and we're able to take public money. And so as people donate, they actually become partners of ours in the project. And as we win and get successful and have profits, so do they. And so we totally disrupted that. And so anyone
Great
that's
idea.
able to come on, it's just great. But the cool thing about it is that we just been doing this for a short amount of time and we're just barely coming into the season where we're really going to kick it off. We have our whole launch strategy, but we already raised $4.7 million and we're the third most crowdfunded project of all time. And I'm here to tell you, I want to disrupt it. I want to overtake Mystery Science Theater 3000 to become the #1 most crowdfunded project of all time. And really send the message that people want better content that are great for families, that are great for uplifting people. And that's what this project's about.
That's
so
also
you can find more information
entertaining
at The Chosen.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, you can find more information at chosen.tv. So.
Wow.
And you can actually watch the full pilot episode. You can see exactly the type of content we'll be making. The only difference would be it's extremely low budget, but I can guarantee you it looks a lot better than
It looks
a lot
cinematic.
of,
It looked really good.
high budget Christian films.
Right?
But it's very low budget, and what we're doing is we're literally putting major budget behind each episode. And it's going to be a very powerful thing that you're able to do. Now, I know a lot of people are probably wondering where this will be found.
Yes.
It's going to be found on a service called VidAngel, and you can see that when you go to thechosen.tv. But after a year, then it's going to actually come out on DVD. It will be on Amazon and a few other things like that as well. So it'll be there, and internationally will probably be on different distribution partners because that's only for the U.S. and Canada. So.
That's so cool. I can't wait to back this project because it just seems like so fun to be part of something like this and then also kind of watch it grow, which I see it says here, kind of getting part of it and then also, being an investor. It's so cool. Thank you so much for coming on today, Derral. That's all the time we have. So you can learn more from Derral at derraleves.com. And I believe that's right, Derral?
And
And I plugged the Chosen website in the chat as well.
And of course, you can join our giveaway. I'm sure you guys have that link. So thank you so much, Derral. So much fun.
It's been a great conversation.
Such a great conversation. And good luck at Vid Summit. I can't wait to watch virtually this year.
I'm just grateful for you guys. And this is one thing I want to make sure we get this on camera. Let's go to the full screen mode because this is better for me if I'm. But seriously, there's companies out there that are all about just the money, and that's all they care about. PTZOptics is always about their customers. And I remember from the first phone call with Paul, talking about some of the stuff that I do, Paul and the whole team at PTZOptics literally have bent over backwards to not only help the projects that I'm passionate about, but also make a difference in this world. And I'm super excited that they're spearheading this giveaway. That's something that I can get behind, and I'm going to put my resources and money behind it as well because of the goodness of that company. Because it's not about look, they have to make a profit, but at the end of the day, it's about taking care of their customers because they know if they take care of their customers, then the customers are going to really help build their client base. And I can tell you what. I'm just grateful that PTZOptics is providing cameras for my conference. They don't have to. They don't need to. But they're doing it because they see the vision of what it can do for the world. And even though it'd be better spent probably going at a different conference that's going to make them more money. But at the end of the day, this company, man, they've been great to us. And I want to make sure I give back to them because it's once you receive stuff, you got to give back. And PTZOptics has been great for us.
Thanks, Derral.
That was really, really nice.
This is such a great conversation. And this is part of a 3-month. So we're really kicking butt on this first one, but throughout this October and November, we're going to be bringing on experts throughout the industry talking about how churches can better themselves and reach out to the world. So thank you so much, Derral. Such a great conversation.
Paul, one last thing. This is really important. Why don't we do this? For the people, are we taking names and email addresses and stuff for the churches right now? Are we doing that? Mm-hmm. Where they're able to do that. Why don't we pick a winner let's have someone bring their social guy to Vid Summit, and let's give away 2 tickets to that. Okay. I'll get them. It's an $800 ticket, and you guys just tell me who's coming. I'll let you figure it out.
Wow, that'll make our giveaway.
More than happy to.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, we're just about to do a giveaway in our post show, so we'll let the winner. It's going to be a nice. That'll be great for them.
That would be amazing.
And they can get a virtual ticket if they can't make it in person. So
perfect. Oh, that's awesome.
Such a great guy, such a generous person, Derral, and we really appreciate you spending the time with us today.
Thank you.
Well, we know you're a busy guy. Thank you so much for your time, Derral. That was so much fun. And you guys hang out for the post show because not only are you going to get a chance to potentially win a PTZOptics camera and all the other great stuff we have, but on top of that, the winner of our post-show giveaway will also receive a ticket to Vid Summit and a virtual ticket as well if you can't make it. So we'll see you guys in the post-show. Thanks so much, Derral. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Right.
That means just extra, extra.